Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Everything Construction Show. My name is Gloria Marie, and I am the host of this show. Today, I am with Rose M. Dostal, and she is an incredible architect and designer out of Ohio that is joining me for our comeback. How are you, Rose? Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. We were talking and chatting about the Everything Construction Club and how this all started. And we had this incredible comeback show planned out. There's been so many changes since the last show. So, who better to chat with about the origins of the Everything Construction Club than one of my VIP moderators and co-hosts for the show. So, why don't you tell people who you are and how we met?
well, oh gosh. So the wonderful thing about COVID, we ended up actually that's where we met. But about me, I'm Rose Dostal. I'm an architect and kitchen and bath designer and interior designer here in Hudson, Ohio. Um, It's a small little corner of our world here, and I was so happy to get Gloria over here. Was that last week or 2 weeks?
2 weeks ago, yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Unbelievable, time flies. Um, but yeah, we met at this app called Clubhouse during COVID, and so during that time, I was really just kind of looking to see how I could still keep learning and sharing, and I found Gloria in one of those rooms they called it, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
forget
rooms. That's
all
what they
about
would
it.
call them. But
Yeah,
they were
back in
like,
the day.
I call it like talk radio, but on the internet. And so you would
Yeah,
go to whatever channel or room you wanted to go to
yeah.
listen to what the live talk radio people had to say. And yeah,
Yeah, and we really met a lot of professionals, and then there were some obviously that you have to be careful which rooms you go into. But it was an interesting time. It was an interesting time.
it was. And we grew that club to thousands of members, as well as another real estate club to like 100,000 plus members. And, the app just kind of fizzled away once the vaccine rolled out and,
Yeah.
people just got back to work and were
Mhm.
not on their phones as much. And we actually relaunched the Everything Construction show as Everything Construction Corner a couple of seasons here on LinkedIn. And I have been in a huge transition in my personal life and professional life for the past 6 or 7 months. So, took the 6 or 7 months to relocate to the state of Florida. Now working with Emser Tile and Stone. So, very, very different than design, build, and GCing my own jobs in the Northeast. Glowjoy, of course, still exists for those who follow me on other social channels. And that's been taken over by the team that actually used to run it in New York. And, I've like kind of passed it off to them, and they are still running projects and doing all the things. And I work as an East Coast regional leader for the luxury and outdoor space at Emser Tile and Stone, still partnered with Builder Trend and Builder Trend Purchasing. So shout out to everybody from my Builder Trend family. And of course, tied in with Rose. So I miss these chats. I had a lot of people ask me, hey, when are you going to do another market watch? There's so many different things going on. When are you bringing back the live show? And so here we are in its third rendition, from Clubhouse to LinkedIn Live hosted by Glowjoy to now just LinkedIn Live, Everything Construction, back to co-hosting with amazing people like you, Rose,
Well,
and really getting into the nitty gritty about what's happening in today's market and in today's world, right? Which
right,
is what
right.
people want to know.
And we owe it all. Well, we owe it all to Emser. And you and I got back together again through the trade show, IBS.
International Motor Show.
Yeah, yeah. And I met Mike there, but all through Emser. And then we always wanted to kind of work together, even though
Yeah.
you're in New Jersey and
Yeah.
I'm in Ohio. And it all worked out. So here we
It
are.
all worked out years
Yeah.
later.
Years
And
later.
we've years later, and now we're working on several projects together,
Yeah.
which is so amazing. We went from zero to none. So the power of networking, and
Exactly.
not just networking, but also the power of connecting people in your network, even
Yeah.
if you're not really getting an immediate something out of it, right? We've known each other now for 5 years, and we just started doing business together
Yeah.
5 years later.
Yeah.
We became friends first,
Yeah.
colleagues, mentors.
Exactly. And I think that talks about the power of relationships too, and
Of course.
this community, and how huge it is, really. And I've known some people too. Well, there are some people too that I've known for years and haven't worked with them, and then all of a sudden I have this need.
Right.
You just never know, because out of sight, out of mind. So, and you're
Absolutely.
always on my mind.
Well, lately you're always on my mind as well. And that's because you're one of the most esteemed online influencer designers on Instagram, and have top awards. I don't see you very much here on LinkedIn, although I haven't really been very much on LinkedIn or any of the social media platforms while doing this transition. So, I mean, I start the podcast or the live stream off with the same question every single time. And that is, why construction? And in this case, it's really why architecture, engineering, and construction, which is AEC, and what most of the guests for this season and future seasons will be, because construction is so much more than just a construction worker, right? But you are on construction sites every week, almost every day. And you're the one who plans them all for us. You give us the blueprints so that we can build what we need to build, and the specifications for all of the materials. So how did you end up here? Why the construction industry?
Well, it all started back when I was very little. When you want me to go back that far, I'll go back that far.
You can go back as far as you want.
So when I was little, I would like collect all of my mom's shoe boxes, I should say, and then I would just cut it up and make rooms out of it. I would have like a complete condo made out, you know, or row house, and I would have these rooms. And so I guess not only my creative side was kind of formed early on, but like the knowledge that there are spaces that would, space within a space creates something bigger, and you're creating an environment, and you want to talk about the adjacencies from one room to another, so I kind of understood that early on, and then I just kind of went further with it. And so when I was in high school, I forgot all about why I loved all this. I got into art, and I thought that's where I was going to go into. And then we had this, I think everybody had this class where you had to write an essay about what you want to be, or what is your goal in life, whatever. And I said to, I had my dad help me, and I said, I really want to be an artist. And he said, well, because my dad's an engineer, and I come from this culture where you have to be a ultra professional, right? You have
of course. I mean, like most minorities, right?
Yeah. To be a doctor, an engineer, a dentist.
Yes, exactly. A lawyer, something.
Yeah, but God forbid it's an artist. And he said, you're not ever going to make any money. And he said,
like any parent would, though.
Most it is not true. Yeah. And so, because he's an engineer and I was good in math, he said, "Why don't you be an engineer?" I said, "No."
I couldn't see
And
you as an
no.
engineer.
And so and he said, "Well, why don't you be an architect? Then guys like me could be your boss." I go, ding, ding, ding. I like that. So here we are. That's why I got into architecture. Uh, I love the creativity and the math that went with it. But then I got into the workforce and I got into the commercial end of it first,
Mhm.
and it just took forever. And there was just so much of the process that took, like, it's so stretched. A schematic would be like months, as opposed to where I'm at
Yeah.
now. I'm a residential architect. I still do some commercial in retail, but now that's stretched. The time span is a lot less. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we're going from here to
yeah,
here because the square footage is
yeah.
obviously a lot less, and there's a lot less
And
decision makers. I think
exactly.
that's the biggest thing, because
Yeah,
sometimes you can have a commercial space that is much smaller than a house, but because of the amount of decision makers and
yeah.
the
Yeah, the
minutia
approval
with
process within
approval
that.
processes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I thought the transition from the commercial to residential just was a great fit for me. And
Yeah,
then on top of that, um, I focused in on kitchen and bath. Although I love the interior design part, because I think everything should be all encompassing and
right.
cohesive when you do a project. But I just think, if you're going to do a big project, if if it is within the realm of your reality, that you should start with the kitchen. Of So I have to say, though, that I decided that there's always room for renovation, no matter how the economy is. There's
Of
always going to
course.
be renovation. So I guess that's job security that I've been thinking about forever and a day. But um,
Job security is very important these
yeah,
days. I
yeah.
mean, we have all this AI, and everybody's
Oh,
stressed out about how AI is going to take over, which is actually one of
yeah.
my questions.
Okay.
And a good segue, AI is breeding plans, creating plans, not very well, renderings, obviously, and all of
Yeah.
that. How do you think that that's going to affect architecture and the future of architecture, I guess,
Well,
professionals?
I think for now, it hasn't been perfected yet because you still
Oh
have.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
We use it for certain things, and
Yeah.
I mean it's great as a base or a template, but you have to
Yeah.
trust and verify like at least 6 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. I've seen some that are just horrific,
yeah,
but it looks beautiful. But when you
right.
look at it with a trained eye, like you
Hmm.
and I do, you know that the hardware doesn't belong in the middle of the floor. or
Right, right, right.
but outside of that, I think you we can use it as an advantage. In other words,
Of
like,
course.
I think scheduling could be a good. I haven't seen an app yet, though, with that. Have you? Where you can do some project management, some construction.
No, I've used the takeoff tool within Builder Trends program. I've spent a lot of time also
Hmm,
inside other programs, and
okay.
I know that there are tools that can facilitate reading the plans as well as creating takeoffs from the plans,
Hmm.
particularly with large multifamily. This becomes very, very useful. I mean, you have variation in ceiling heights sometimes you have a little bit of difference in layouts, but for the most part, most multifamilies are going to have the same line of apartment in every floor. And
Right.
so you can just kind of copy paste and multiply things. And so I think the tools are useful for that from an estimating perspective. I think from a design perspective, there's a lot of tools right now and applications right now on mobile phones that are helping people with renderings and
Yeah.
taking photos from rooms or helping people measure rooms, but the accuracy of those is not very good.
Yeah. No. No.
Yeah.
No.
So
Not yet.
we still need a trained designer or a trained architect to go in and, measure everything properly, do proper layouts. I work in obviously the tile and stone world right now, and that's my niche. And ordering tile, it can vary depending on the layout, right?
Yeah.
So what waste could be 10%, it could be 20%, depending on the layout. And AI does, again, a pretty good job, I think, of giving people ideas and getting people to a certain point, but we
Mhm.
still need a trained designer, a trained eye, a trained tile setter or professional to put together a layout and understand, okay, how many cuts need to be made and where the cuts need to be made, and therefore how much tile we need to order, et cetera, et cetera. Hardwood flooring is the same thing. And even things like specialty walls or paint. In my past experience as a builder, there's just things that as a builder or a GC, I couldn't see that designers saw, right? Or a trained
Mhm.
architect saw. And then vice versa, there are things that I could see that others can't see. And so I use that to my advantage now. I work with a lot of designers in this business development role that I have within the Emser company. And, it's great to have that background as a framer, as a contractor, and somebody understanding waterproofing, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I think it's a tool. It's definitely a tool that we can all use, just like the tools that we
Yeah.
use. Revit. I remember when Revit first came out, and other tools that came out to kind of help us
Yeah.
visualize spaces. People are like, "Oh, we don't need that."
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely a tool, and we should really take advantage of it. Here's another scenario. So I had this one project, and towards the end, it got kind of sticky, and it happens to the best of us.
It
Um,
does. It's
and
construction.
yeah, and so I took some pictures during. It, I would say it was about 90% done. And so I took pictures of that. Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second. Okay.
Rose has an old school. This is live.
This
Now, this is
is
what happens. Rose has an old school phone, and it rings. Look at that on a Friday,
yes,
past 3 o'clock
On a Friday. On a
on a
Friday.
Friday.
We're,
That's
we're
how
we
busy
were
she's good. If
we
her
were
like
busy. We were
phone is
busy
ringing.
today. It's such a weird Friday, but anyway, so 90% done or 95% done. I was taking some pictures, and about 98% complete. Um, she wasn't happy with the way the deliveries were happening. It was out of my control, but
Right.
things just escalate. And you try to be patient. And anyways, so long story short, I wasn't able to go back there and take the pictures, but I used the 95% complete pictures, and I just kind of erased all that stuff that was on the counter on the
Yeah.
walls, and it still remains as well after AI completed it and everything. It looks like a professional, not quite professional photo, but at least it's something I could show my future or potential clients who's looking for like
Right.
calorie or something like that. So yeah. So yeah, I use
I
it as
never
a
even
tool.
thought of using it for that. Thank you
Oh,
for that tip.
yeah. Lots of ideas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's other ways too, you know. And like when you get into um, so for me, I'm more of a creative on the drawing side, the creative um, side, aesthetics, whatever. But when it comes to writing, it's not my strongest suit. Um, so I'll start a draft. Uh,
Right.
it's always my thoughts, my ideas, and what the output that I would want it to be.
Of course.
And then
Like you
I
would shoot it to a secretary, right?
yeah,
Or an
yeah,
admin assistant. I
yeah,
mean, it's no different. Here's talking
yeah,
points. This
yes,
is the message
yeah,
I'm trying to convey. Please
yeah,
put something together.
yeah, yeah. You just have to, you have to realize when you're using these tools,
Right.
don't just say, "Hey, write me a resume." I see, okay, students out there, um, or people who are looking for a job, don't just let Chat GPT write your introduction to a resume because they all sound the same. So what you want to
And
do?
ask it to remove the dashes because the dashes are a dead giveaway, guys.
Oh, or the little squares, so when you put up the apostrophe, there's like little squares.
Yes, I'm calling you out, Open AI. Do something about the dashes. Sheesh.
I haven't used. Is it Pilot? I haven't
Okay.
used Pilot, but yeah, it's if it's gonna save you,
Time.
if it's gonna save you time, if it's gonna save you an hour, that's an hour of drawing time for me, or like you're pushing it away because you want to like finish writing this proposal, but
Hmm.
can't seem to just finish it. You can't seem to close it. So what I do is I just copy my draft, put it in the chat GPT and say,
Finish
help,
this.
help me close it. And this is what I wanted. This is the idea that I want to come across.
Sometimes your brain's just too fried. So I
Yeah,
treat it as a personal assistant. I have it help me book
yeah.
flights. I travel a lot for work.
Oh yeah,
So I have it help me
of course.
find the best flights. I have it help me schedule trips, right? If I
Yeah,
need to do a tour and go visit different job
yeah,
sites, I want
yeah,
it to help me figure out, okay, how should I organically plan this so that I'm not going all over town. And especially in places like New York and New Jersey, where you could, yes, be 1 mile away from a place, but given traffic and transportation, just put yourself 3 hours out of the way. So it's really important, I think, to uh, know exactly what you want and put exactly what you want in it. And like we all said, it's a great tool. And
yeah, yeah.
as you would treat a junior coordinator, a junior assistant, or something like that, you have to trust but verify, regardless of whether you pay for premium and have trained it. So, I
Yeah.
mean, moving on from, I don't want this to be an ad for, the AI app, but, moving on from the AI, that is one thing that's been trending. What other things are you seeing that are trending in the industry and just as in the market as a whole, that we both work in?
Um, well, are you talking about materials, aesthetics,
No,
or
no, just in
like
general,
in
like,
general?
so trends in the luxury, residential, commercial space, trends in just the industry in general, right?
Mhm.
You mentioned materials, so everybody keeps asking about tariffs
Yeah,
and price increases. So any trends that
I
are,
could share one trend that kind of came to mind
yeah,
when the news came out about tariffs. Like they
right,
were, so I guess there's going to be 50% um, um, on furniture. Wait, sorry, cabinetry.
right,
50% on cabinetry, 30% on furniture, and I think it's 50. on vanities. So I
Okay.
mentioned vanities because I didn't realize vanities was even like
A category in
a category.
itself.
Uh, but what I noticed, speaking of trends, though, the last the last time I went to High Point, which is the mecca of all interior designers,
Right, right.
all furniture, um, every okay, so it's over exaggerating, but it's pretty close to truth that every furniture manufacturer had a vanity line. Even
Okay.
the lighting manufacturer had a vanity line. So everyone was
Interesting.
getting into this offerings of
Vanities.
vanities.
Hmm.
And so I think a lot are I, I'm just gonna, this is an absolute guess, but um, they are coming from China, from Italy. Uh,
Hmm.
I know of one from Italy, um, and uh, I don't. I think it's India. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, 50% is a huge,
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 huge, massive.
massive increase. So I don't know if that's gonna help some of them. So my cabinetry lines are all made in U.S. I'm
Okay.
not worried about that, although um, their parts are made in Germany. The
Right,
hardware.
right.
Um, but if they're going to be inundated with orders for vanities, I just think that's going to slow them down for a little profit. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
vanity compared to a full kitchen. Um, do you want to do 1,000 vanities versus 25 kitchens? I don't know. That's just what I'm seeing.
Of
But
course, of course. I think, and it's really market based. And to your point, from a material standpoint, who you're working with and where those materials are coming from.
mm,
From what I have seen in trends, is that regardless of the commodity, people are utilizing the tariff as an excuse to either increase their prices or put the fear of God into people to buy now before price increases happen and the tariffs happen. And so, I'm pretty blessed to not have to worry about that as well. I work with an American brand that, manufactures here in the US. Obviously, we import and export tile and stone from 29 plus different countries. And I think that that's going to be standard across the board, right? And I don't know yet what the future holds for us. I think we have some sort of announcements coming for the next quarter, like most companies. And so, overall, though, I have seen, because people ask me, developers ask me in meetings all the time, if their project is going to deliver, if they're going to need their product in a year or 2 years down the line, or even 6 months down the line, how are we guaranteeing prices with the cost of import export fluctuating so much, right? And
yeah,
so working with American made brands is, to your point, one of the best ways to combat that, for sure. And we
yeah,
can't predict anything.
yeah,
Put a
yeah,
line item in your contract that says price is only valid for 10 days, 30
yeah, yeah,
days, however long you want to trust the market, right? I mean, commodities are commodities.
yeah,
I think the bankers know better than we do.
yeah. It is
Yeah.
tough though, because if as a designer who offers goods, um, it's tough because your client says one thing, but their wallet says another. So you're trying to balance it all. Um,
Hmm.
and if I'm gonna tap into all things American made. Um, it's kind of hard though. And
It is in this current climate, yes.
yeah, yeah. So there. It's tricky right now. Uh,
Hmm.
Even though I can say I'm in that luxury market.
Right.
Fine luxury. It all differs from across the country, but to some extent, these clients can only bear so
So
much.
much. Everybody has a budget. They could say
Yeah,
they don't have one.
yeah,
And it might be higher than they're letting off. It might be lower than they're letting off with their
yeah,
taste.
yeah,
Like some people have really fancy taste and their wallet doesn't really speak to that fancy taste. Or
yeah,
sometimes people need something more practical, but their wallet, they don't want to let go of their wallet, and they really do have the money, and
yeah.
they should spend the money because they don't want to redo their kitchen and bath again in 2 or 3 years, but they don't want to, right? Just based
Right.
off of a couple dollars and cents. So it goes back to relationships and understanding people, whether
Yeah,
it's a client or a tradesperson you're working with, an architect, an engineer, a designer, a supplier, right?
yeah, yeah. You really have to um, curate your team. You curate
Yeah,
products, but you really should curate your team. And for me, I've been in this business long enough that I do rely on relationships, uh,
100%.
professionally. I say relationships, but like really, I need to trust that they're going to give me great service.
Yep.
Um, and not only that, a great product. And sometimes you know that a product is like it fits the bill, but the maybe like I have this one client who like I just want it all to fit the bill except for that budget. You can lower the budget. I said, well, that's impossible. You can't have a lower budget and stay within that high quality product.
Of course,
Uh,
something's got to give when
somebody,
it's either
something, yeah,
quality, or you're spending more money, or maybe a
exactly.
longer lead time. Sometimes it's a
Yeah,
longer lead time,
yeah,
right? We were talking about that with custom products. It's not really about the
right,
price, it's
right.
more about a longer lead time to have it brought over from a
Exactly what
different
you want.
country and manufactured, and shop drawings and all the
Yeah.
stuff that goes
Yeah,
into something
so
like
I
that.
mean, I bring that up with the idea of curating your team because I think if you have the right team, you can have this conversation with your team and say, hey, this is my client. Sometimes they'll find that product for you because they see it every day, or
Right.
um, it just happened today. With I said, hey, I'm looking for this product, and if you have the right team, that person will show you. They should guide you in the right direction. So yeah,
Absolutely. I'm blessed to have an awesome team. So I have actually multiple awesome teams all over the East Coast. I don't know what I would do without my awesome teams. In fact, I'm at our Fort Myers showroom today, borrowing them to do this call and working in the area. And it's not my home branch, but I mean, it's great to have branches all over the US, and it's one big happy family, right? And the team
yeah.
is what makes it all roll together, right? I mean, I cannot do anything by myself,
No,
or
no.
even
Thank God you
without
have
people like
Carrie over
you,
there.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Carrie. Oh my gosh, Carrie is like
yeah.
incredible. We'll have to bring her on one time. I know she's shy, so maybe we could do an Instagram with her and keep it concise,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
But yeah, no, the teams are everything. With a great team, you can really support the best of the best. And for me, you are one of the best of the best. I've gotten to know you for the past 5 years, and I admire your work. I see how you maneuver at these trade shows. I see all the relationships and how you like build, manage, and connect people. So, you've definitely been a role model for me in this industry as I've evolved in the industry. You know what I mean?
Aw. Well, I appreciate you saying all that. You're just too kind, but that's just how we are, right? So I don't even think about it.
It's just your personality. I
Oh,
know. I know. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So we're getting to we keep these shows kind of concise. It's a Friday. So we're getting to the last like 5, 10 minutes, of the time that we have allotted for the show. Wanted to know if you had any questions. I give the opportunity, obviously, to the hosts and the guests to reverse interview me, right? And ask any questions that you think, are relevant to this conversation. And particularly since we're kicking off a entirely new season and, starting up fresh, all new.
Well, I don't. I didn't think about a question, but so right now I'm thinking about how you went from a cold climate to a warm climate. So how are you dealing with that? I know some people are like into the whole 4 season thing, and some people prefer a 3 season thing, and
So
you're
that's so funny.
one hot season.
Yeah, it is funny that you mentioned that. So, first of all, shout out to our VP, Mike Weaver, who made fun of me a couple of weeks ago, right before I went to Ohio, for going to New York and picking up my fall clothes. Because he was like, "What do you need your fall clothes for? And who has fall clothes?" Right. And I'm like, people who live in 4 season climates typically
Yeah,
have four different full sets of wardrobes.
yeah,
Especially if you're of a certain age. This is clothes I've collected over years and years and years of purchases, and it's really not even that much. But yeah, no, I picked up my fall clothes because, to your point, I knew that I would be traveling back to the Northeast for projects with Emser, as well as other, responsibilities with my family. My mom still lives in Massachusetts, and my sister and other family members live in the Northeast. So I'll always, I think, be flying back and forth between the North and the Southeast.
mhm.
And so that is how I'm handling the need to wear boots and scarves and, all my favorite fall outfits. I can do without the winter. I actually only kept one coat. So I can do without the winter. I will keep my Florida winters, which I'm told is a typical northeastern fall at night and normal during the day, which is amazing. So yeah, I'll skip the winter and then I'll visit you guys back in the spring. And you're in the north as well. So as long as I'm connected to people in the northern part of the United States, I will always have an excuse to go back. Plus, don't we have like 4 projects right now that we're working on? At some point, I'm going to have to go back.
Yeah, yes, yes. I hope you do. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I don't think that I'm ever gonna like I don't think I'm ever gonna stop my desire to want to be in the Northeast for the fall. The fall is my favorite season. It's
yeah,
absolutely
you'll
gorgeous.
have
I
to come
just
back because it's just absolutely beautiful over here.
Yeah,
And I told you about that one route. It's just beautiful with the fall.
yeah, it's
Um,
absolutely gorgeous.
uh, but on the other side of that too, well, keeping the seasonal topic. Um,
Yeah.
do you see a change in detailing for the tiles? Like, let's say, let's say here in the Northeast, um, maybe and we both know like with coats they all differ in different.
Right, right. Of course, it varies by region.
Yeah. Um, maybe not so much of detailing, but what people are
Using
what's trending in the South is different from what's trending up here.
Well, the South varies, right? Like some people consider Texas the South, and to me,
Yeah.
Texas is like its own world, even though it's part of the South. And then you have also Miami is very different than where I am right now, the West Coast of
Yeah.
Florida, or even Tampa, where I was at earlier this week, which is central. You've got also the Panhandle, so I think it varies even within state by region.
Mhm.
What's trending in New York City may not be trending so much in Brooklyn, may not be trending in Westchester County or Greenwich, Connecticut either. What's trending, I'm working on a house in Rutherford, New Jersey right now, and those are huge, ginormous houses over there in the I guess right across the bridge from the state of New York. I mean, the entire Northeast is tiny. It's like a quarter of the size of Texas. So, you can really cross all the states in one day. But there's so much variation within even those regions. So, I will say that traditional and classic colors and looks are never going to go out of style. Whether I'm in the Northeast or the Southeast, I'm still seeing a lot of marble and natural stone being used, and that is in new construction, it's in restoration projects. I mean, stone or stone looking porcelain is always been trending, and I think will continue to trend. One of the biggest trends that I'm seeing right now is large format tile
Hmm.
and large format feature, I guess, almost like wallpaper looking tile.
Yeah.
So RE by Emser line is a great example of that. And we have other product lines as well that do a very good job of that. And wood looking tile or tile that mimics, again,
Hmm.
natural stone or products. Here in South Florida, we have to deal with humidity and salt and, all these different elements. So we can't really have these cool wood feature walls like they do in the Northeast made out of real wood. So they'll
Well, it
make
is
them
also
out
true
of,
here.
yeah,
We
yeah,
also
they'll make them out
love
of wood looking
moisture.
tile.
Yeah.
In the Northeast, they have Trex material that they like to use a lot too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think it depends on the area. I know in our West Coast region, all those terracottas are very, very popular, as well as, some of the tile. I'm sitting like right in front of me, right? So all these like tiles with all these little
Oh, yeah.
speckles on them, right? And so I think that the trends also vary by designer and TikTok and Pinterest and Instagram. I think that sometimes I will get a phone call, and we were joking about this in my team. Somebody posted a blue checkerboard pattern with white and blue checkerboards, like a navy blue. And now, all of a sudden, in the past 2 weeks, I have had, I would say, about 6 designers reach out to me for a navy blue 24 by 24, 18 by 18 tile. And I'm like, who posted this and why is it trending? Because it had to be some sort of TikTok thing that went viral or something. And now everybody wants the same pattern. So I think that social media and conversations like this have a lot of influence on what people are using for sure.
Mhm.
And so it varies by region and by country and by taste, by age groups. Millennials are forever going to be into gray. Guys, let it die, please.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
So over that.
yeah, we're over the gray, guys.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial. I
Yeah.
can say this. Like, let it die, guys. I know I have a bunch of gray tile behind me, but that's what sells. So just get rid of it.
Yes. I think for me, like I like to go to trade shows because then you can stay ahead of the trends. A lot of designers go and they see what works, and through their trained eyes,
Right.
they can see which will work, which combinations will work, whatever's trending in their region. They can see if that will transition well. Uh,
Right.
and it's always, to me, it seems like it'll have a pretty long shelf life if
Yep.
you do it right. If everything is balanced, um, and really, I see trends, but if you stay within it, like your true process,
Yeah.
and sometimes whatever is trending seems to like kind of wash away, or sometimes it fits right in. But
Right.
if your whole um, if your design process, if you followed your whole design process, and if you are working, if you're not a designer, let's say if you're the end user, please hire a professional, because we've just had gone through the experience, the education versus experience, and having the right trade partners that educate us on what we should and we shouldn't do, more so
Yep.
than, because they, I don't know about you, but some of my vendors don't even want to deal with the end users, because they're I shouldn't say they, but some are just so closed minded that they don't hear,
Yep.
all of that extra requirements that you need, or heed some of the warnings. Some just love it so much that they'll go beyond what they shouldn't do, and then we get into trouble after.
Yeah, I think that that's with any industry, and that's a great way to close, the conversation in the show. Hire a professional because time is money. Rework is money. What you don't know, you don't know. Just like you are a professional at whatever job you have, you're not going to go and try to fix your own spine. You're going to go to a doctor or a chiropractor or a surgeon. You're not going to sit here and try to build your own prescription for glasses. You're going to go to an optometrist, get an exam, work with somebody, even a designer, to help you pick out the right lenses and frame so that you can see properly. So I
You're
think with
not going
like
to pull your
anything
own
else,
teeth.
yeah, yeah.
Just
I mean, so I always tell people, stay in your lane. And after a while, it's okay to like buy pizza and beer for your buddies when you're moving in college and high school and a couple things. But you're not doing that at the age of 50, because we have back problems, joint issues, and everything else. You've learned by that point that it's worth it to hire somebody to do the moving for you, so, or upgrade your seat because you're on a long flight. So hire a professional. It saves you money anyway. A lot of people think that working with a designer is actually going to be more expensive. It's actually less expensive. They get way better deals on material. They know how to pick materials properly. They know what materials work together. They know what installation methods work together. And unless you have absolutely nothing to do and you are retired, who has the time to learn all of that? And the money to waste on mistakes, because you could make so many mistakes and then have to redo things. Like I saw somebody that had to redo a shower after 8 months that it was built, and that's ripping out all the tile, re-waterproofing, and installing. That's demo plus
insane,
install, and they
insane.
could have just paid for it to be done properly in the first place.
Yeah.
So with that, Rose, how do people find you? Where can they find you? How can they connect with you?
Well, so I'm always on Instagram, RMD_designs. They can also find me, they can Google me, Rose Dostal, AIA, ASID, and KVA. Um, or,
And all the other
yeah,
initials that go behind.
yeah, I wear many hats. Um, or www.rmddesignsllc.com. You
All
can find
right. Well,
more.
thank you so much for being my guest today. I really appreciate you, Rose, for taking the time, for answering the questions, for bringing your energy. And to everybody who tuned in and or is catching the replay, make sure you give us both a follow. I can be found on all platforms as at the Gloria Marie, and we will have a new YouTube channel as well as more announcements on more additional sponsors and amazing folks coming to the show. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.